It is time for Daybreak and time for another Terran versus Protoss at the Up and Downs. We are in match number 6. To the bottom left, we have a Complexity player. It is the Terran called
Complexity Heart.
Complexity's Heart. He is up 1-0 in the group as he was able to defeat his teammate Killer, who is currently looking at 0 wins and 2 losses. Not a good situation. He's in the same spot as MMA. To the top right, though, we have another Protoss who was able to win his first match, and this is none other than the StarTale player called
StarTale Ace.
StarTale Ace. This is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah. Ace holding off an all-in in his first game. In this game, going for a... not going for a Nexus first. And look at this, man. Every game so far today. Proxy Barracks. Gas going down too. It's going to be a Marauder rush. This is really weird. He could, I suppose, potentially, maybe go for Reapers, but I don't think so.
We've seen it sometimes on Cloud Kingdom just recently, but I suspect that we are going to see the obviously the Tech Lab, and then it will be Marauders. That's what I would like to see here out of Heart. We talked a little bit about Heart likes to be really, really aggressive. You just mentioned that today was one of the days where we had a lot of aggressive play by all of these players. And the question is if Ace is going to scout it. It's actually one of the positions where you would scout and he sees it. It's a very, very common position to build off barracks, so he knows exactly what's going on right now. What do you think he's going? What should he do here?
Well, I think he's just going to make his Zealot. He's going to spend all of his chrono on his warp gates, and he's just going to, or on his actual gateway, like on his actual units coming out of the gateway, and he will hold. What can Heart do, man? That is what the bigger question is. He's actually going to pull probes here.
Oh, if he actually kills the Tech Lab before Concussive Shell finishes?
He's going to try to put this behind here.
He's trying to surround the Marauder.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Ah, that was cool. That was pretty cool. Building the supply depot at the bottom and saving the Marauder. I like this. Nice touch here by Heart.
You can tell he's actually dealt with it. I mean, he's done this build a lot. Zealot is actually going to bypass the barracks entirely and go for a counterattack. That is awesome. Because now with Stalkers alone, with the second Stalker that comes out, if he controls it properly, if he holds the high ground, he should be fine. Oh man, this is actually really cool.
I really like this. Just think about it. There's nothing to defend.
Yep. He needs to stop this bunker from going up, though. Well, he doesn't need to, but it's going to be important.
And he's not walling off completely. Look at it.
Nope.
He sees it, but it's too late. It's too late. The Zealot is in.
We'll see how good his micro is. We're about to find out. Meanwhile, though, he does attack.
Uh-oh, and he loses his Stalker immediately. Heart attacks, and Ace loses his Stalker.
One probe does kill a Marauder, however. And this Zealot is doing a lot of damage. He's not actually microing against it. He's just attack moving. Zealot takes out 5.
5 kills, 5 SCV kills. The probe count and the SCV count is 14 to 16 in favor of Heart, but the Mule is a big issue.
Here we go. Probe's coming out here. He's going to fall back to that low ground bunker, but in this case, he will be able to stop the bunker on the high ground during this. He doesn't stop it.
Not quite, and here comes 3 Stalkers. Finally, the bunker is about to die.
He needs to kill it.
Yeah, he needs to. More and more Marauders are coming in here. Is he able to force these Stalkers back? It certainly looks like he has 4 Marauders that should be enough, but there are 4 Stalkers now as well. He's going for it. Stalker is dead, but now Ace is pushing out, and this looks pretty good for Ace here.
Yeah, it does. He's going to salvage that bunker. He will get away with it. The worker count is now 16 to 14, however, in Heart's favor. He does start a command center, which will actually fill in his wall off.
I like this. It's pretty cool. Walls off with the command center. He needs to retreat with the barracks now. And the thing is that he has no production at this point. So Heart knows this. He's following it up with aggression.
Yep, he's just going to go into the base. He's going to attack with these Stalkers. I'm surprised he's not pulling a probe to make a forward pylon, because he should actually just be able to end this game.
He has no walk gate, does he?
Did he not start it? No, he does.
Oh, he has completed.
Okay, so he's starting a bunker now. It's going to be 4 Stalkers against 3 Marauders, though.
The bunker's going to be late.
Yeah, it's not in time. Oh, he's waiting. He's killing a neutral depot. I think it's kind of weird. Okay, here we go. Some hesitation.
With the high ground advantage, he doesn't really know what's up here, so...
Now he does, but he does not target correctly, and he's actually going to lose a Stalker.
Yeah, with the SCVs here, that's a problem for him.
You know, I think that the decision to move back the first time was not necessarily the best one, but it was like kind of the safe thing to do. But then to go up a second time after doing that was really weird. And I think he definitely could have done a little bit more with that push. But either way, he's now going to go home safely, leaves a Stalker on the watchtower so he can see any potential move-outs of his opponent. He also got really important scouting information. His opponent is making a Command Center. The Command Center is part of the wall-off here. Stim is on the way. eBay going down now for Hart, and Hart's going to transition into a pretty normal game from here.
What helps Ace is that he had Chrono Boosts available after the push of his opponent, so he could close the gap in a supply, in worker supply. And now we have 31 against 32 overall supply. The attack lab is obviously going to die.
Double expand from Ace.
Double expand for Ace, who is trying to be a little bit greedy here. And I have to say, I like this. I like this a lot. He was able to... I mean, you're Hart. You just try to go for Marauder Rush. You were thrown back. Your opponent showed that he tries to be aggressive and wants to walk up the ramp. You are trying to expand. So at this point, you just rely on your macro. I'm not quite sure if if Hart is really going to move out again. He will probably just be trying to secure his position, wait for his upgrades, at least wait for Stim, and I don't see him attacking the third right away.
No, I don't think so. He can't really. That's what Ace is banking on here. He knows that he has a lot of gas banked up right now, even though he only had one geyser taken. So he's just gonna, he's like, well, I'm gonna leave the one gas, and I'm going to start powering up gateways here. He's actually only going up to 4 gateways in total. He has the second geyser made. He's not using it, however. He's just now putting the probes in there. With this third Nexus that he has, he does have the potential to actually be aggressive like Parting does and go up to a bunch of gates. That doesn't seem to be his plan here, however, as he's just sticking with the 4 gateways. He's starting to mine from that second gas. I think he's going to start to tech now. He's actually going up to 4 gases, taking 2 additional ones at his natural right now.
And with all the production that he has, especially with the 3 Nexi, he has the energy for Chrono Boosts, a lot more Chrono Boosts. He has 3 probes at a time. His economy will be in a good position. But now with Combat Shield, sorry, not Combat Shield, but Stim done, Hart is moving out again. So he's choosing exactly the timing. We talked about it a little bit earlier. When his upgrades are about to finish, he's moving out with them, with his force. And this is something that has been scouted by Ace, who's now warping in additional units. And here comes Hart, spotting the 3rd base. And he's like, okay, so I'm up against 3 bases. I have to do something, and I have to do it soon.
Yeah. He does have the better tech by far, though. Yeah. With his starport finishing up here, he's also got combat shields on the way, as you mentioned earlier. Stim and +1 finishing as well. What will Ace do against multi-prong drop harass, where he's attacking the 3rd base with a ground force, dropping the main? What's he going to do against that? That's going to be very difficult to defend.
It's something that he has to expect, though.
Yeah, the best way sometimes to defend this, some people say, you know, the best defense is a good offense. He may actually start to attack his opponent, keeping him on the defensive where he doesn't feel comfortable to move medevacs out.
I'm a bit surprised that we don't have... Yeah, actually he tried. I think he had it as a probe walking to the left. There's one unit currently for Hart. There's one Marine who tries to spot if there is a pylon that would be able to scout drop play. We'd have the first 2 medivacs just building right now, and Ace has to know that this is a problem that he might face. So I'm a little bit surprised that he does not try to get at least a unit position over here, that he has nothing right now in order to defend his main base against a potential drop. At least a unit to spot it.
Yeah, I don't like how Ace is transitioned with his 3rd base very much, because I mean, obviously all the timings get a little bit weird with this type of build, but he has 700 gas banked up.
He tried it, by the way. He just tried it, and the pilot was cancelled, so he tried to set up a scout here. I like this 3rd base idea. He needs some time, though, in order to get even in tech, but
he's
if he
finally
pulls
starting to use that gas. I mean, he's dumping as much of it as he can. He still has 440 in the bank, but he's getting charged, he's getting 1-1 upgrades. But his opponent is going to have 1-1 far ahead. And in fact, he's going to hit with a timing with 4 medevacs and 1-1 upgrades. The second 2 medevacs are coming across the map right now. This is really scary, because with 4 medevacs, he has so much drop potential. He's actually just going to... Yeah, he's going to attack into the natural.
Why is Ace still at his 3rd?
Yeah, he can see this with his probe, too. He's not reacting quickly enough. Okay, now he sees it. He's pulling over.
Just in time, but if those get up the ramp,
Well, remember, he has 1-1. He has Medivacs here. His opponent does not have charge yet.
But
he's actually just going to go into the main and then drop attack the third directly. This is exactly what I said. It's going to be difficult for Ace with no tech.
Yeah, the drop is definitely something that we already talked about. This is the problem for Ace, and there's just too much. There's also small force at the third. And this drop is so powerful. There are a ton of units there in the middle of the main base. These Zealots are not going to be enough. Even with the probes, he immediately pulls them back as he realizes that it's not going to happen.
Nope, he's losing so much. A ton of probes. The gateways get unpowered here.
He is just losing the game.
Yeah, he's going to die. This is exactly what I said. He's going to base attack at the third. There's going to be a big drop in the main. He won't be able to deal with it with no tech. And Ace is suddenly sitting on 1,200 minerals and 1,200 gas. He can't spend his money. He's lost power of his gateways. His gas timings were wrong. His build was poorly executed. GG. He actually defended the all-in well. I mean, it wasn't an all-in. It's arguable, but he defended the proxy barracks well. His transition was decent with a double expand. But then he didn't use his gases. He actually got 4 gases and then didn't use them. He was like on 4 gases with 4 gates, and he wasn't even making sentries. I was sitting there going, well, what's his plan here? Then he made double forges and got charged, but still, it wasn't... I kind of like the double expand, but he went a little bit overboard with it. He didn't tech quickly enough. He didn't use his gas for anything.
He was focusing on his economy too long.
You either go for a big gateway push after you double expand like that to keep your opponent in his base so he can't drop you, and you use that huge power up that you get. If you go for gases, you get your upgrades faster than he did. You get your charge out a little bit earlier. And not to say that he played really poorly, but it feels like I feel like he could have done a lot better. I feel like he actually could have either taken his gases later.
The tech transition was a little bit too late.
Yeah, it was just shaky. I feel like his timings were a little bit off after the early game. He wasn't exactly sure how to follow up.
And if you go for robotics a little bit earlier, for example, you have the observer out, you can see when exactly the drop is happening, because that's something that you have to account for. You know that your opponent will have a faster attack than you. So it was inevitable that at some point a Medivac would have hit his way. So he tried to get a pylon in position, but Hart already assumed that there is going to be some kind of scouting going on, and as he realized that the tech is not ready for Ace just yet, he sent just a Marauder and a Marine over, took the pylon out even before it was built, and from this point on he could do whatever he wanted with Ace not really knowing about it. So the tech a little bit too late for Ace. He relied on his 3 bases for too long on his economy, and with an earlier tech, I really like the transition into 3 bases, but he has to get more army and more tech a little bit earlier in order to defend against it. And as soon as Stim finished, Hart moved out.
Yeah, he did. And with the Medivacs, he had 1-1 upgrades way ahead. Yep. He had just too much tech. There was no way to deal with it. He didn't have enough units in his main positioned well. And his opponent's army was just too big. He couldn't handle it. And that puts us further into this group. Our next match after the break is going to, in fact, be... I'm not sure who
Marine
plays.
King against MMA.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Actually, that's going to be a good match to watch because in TVT these guys are pretty evenly matched, I would say.
It's not only about the Terran versus Terran and that we have 2 great players facing each other. We have Marine King with 2 wins and not a single loss, and MMA is exactly in the opposite position. Yeah. He has 0 wins at this point, has lost both his games, and if he does not win against Marine King right now, he's out.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we're going to find out if he is out right after this 5-minute break, so don't go anywhere. This is the GSL Up and Downs with Caldor and Wolf.